What if one day the question is no longer about rumors, glances, or moments caught on camera, but about borders, laws, and legal recognition? What if love itself is not the problem, but the country where that love exists? That is the question many fans quietly ask when they think about Jimin and Jungkook and the future that could be waiting for them. For a long time, discussions about Jimin and Jungkook have stayed in the emotional space. Fans talk about chemistry, comfort, trust, and connection. But once the topic of marriage comes up, everything shifts. Marriage is not just a promise between two people. Marriage is a legal system. And when a legal system does not recognize certain unions, people start looking for answers beyond their own borders. South Korea, as of now, does not legally recognize same-sex marriage. This means that two men cannot register a marriage inside the country. There's no form to sign, no legal status to obtain, no spousal recognition under Korean law. At the same time, same-sex relationships themselves are not illegal. Loving someone of the same gender is not a crime. It is simply not recognized in the legal framework of marriage. This distinction matters more than people realize, because it means that if Jimin and Jungkook were together, they would not be breaking any laws by being in a relationship. The law only draws a line when it comes to marriage registration and the legal benefits that come with it. So the first big question appears: if South Korea does not legalize same-sex marriage, would Jimin and Jungkook have to leave the country just to get married? Legally speaking, the answer is simple, but emotionally complex. If they wanted a marriage that is legally recognized somewhere in the world, they would need to go to a country that allows same-sex marriage. Countries like the United States, Canada, and several European nations already do. In those countries, two men can legally marry regardless of nationality, as long as they meet the legal requirements set by that country. This is where many people misunderstand the situation. Getting married abroad does not mean you're abandoning your country. It does not mean you're escaping or defecting. It simply means you're using another country's legal system to formalize your relationship. So Jimin and Jungkook, as Korean citizens, could legally marry in a country that allows same-sex marriage. Their nationality does not block them from doing that. Marriage laws are based on the country where the marriage takes place, not on where the couple is from. But then comes the next layer, and this is where the situation becomes more serious. What happens after the marriage? If Jimin and Jungkook were legally married in another country and then returned to South Korea, that marriage would not be recognized by Korean law. In the eyes of the Korean legal system, they would still be considered unmarried individuals. This affects many things, from property rights to medical decisions to inheritance and spousal benefits. This creates a strange and painful reality. A couple can be legally married in one country and legally invisible in another. The marriage exists on paper somewhere else, but not at home. This leads to the second major question fans often ask. Would Jimin and Jungkook have to change citizenship to make their marriage valid? The answer is no. Citizenship and marriage are two completely separate legal concepts. You do not need to become a citizen of another country to get married, and you do not lose your citizenship just because you get married abroad. Jimin and Jungkook could remain fully Korean citizens and still get married in another country. There is no legal requirement that forces them to give up their nationality for marriage. So why does citizenship keep coming up in this conversation? Because marriage affects daily life, not just status. If a couple wants their marriage to be recognized in the country where they live, work, and build their future, then living in a country that recognizes that marriage becomes important. That is where residency, visas, and long-term living arrangements enter the discussion. Some couples choose to live abroad not because they want to stop being who they are, but because they want their relationship to be legally seen and protected. That choice is not about rejecting one's homeland. It is about choosing legal security. For public figures like Jimin and Jungkook, this conversation becomes even layered. Their careers are deeply connected to South Korea. Their language, culture, and identity are rooted there. Leaving permanently would not be a small decision, but living part-time abroad is already common for global artists. Many international artists own homes in multiple countries. They travel constantly for work. Their lives are already global. So the idea of spending significant time in a country that recognizes same-sex marriage would not be unusual from a professional standpoint. Still, nothing legally forces Jimin and Jungkook to change citizenship. South Korea does allow dual citizenship in limited cases, especially for individuals with exceptional global influence. Even without dual citizenship, long-term residency abroad is possible through various legal paths. Another important point often missed in online discussions is that marriage recognition does not equal public disclosure. A couple can be legally married without making it public. Legal systems do not require press releases or public statements. Many celebrities keep marriages private for years. So even if Jimin and Jungkook were legally married abroad, it would not automatically mean a public announcement or confirmation of anything. The legal act and the public narrative are two different things. This is why the topic keeps resurfacing, because it sits at the intersection of love, law, privacy, and identity. Fans aren't just curious about marriage, they're curious about freedom. What happens when love exists, but the law doesn't catch up? Do people wait? Do they compromise? Do they build quiet lives in the spaces between legality and reality? Around the world, many same-sex couples live exactly like this. They adapt. Some marry abroad and accept that their home country will not recognize it. Some move. Some stay and wait for change. Some never marry legally, but still build families and lifelong partnerships. So when fans ask whether Jimin and Jungkook would have to leave Korea, the truth is that nothing forces them to do anything. The law limits options, but it does not remove choice. Leaving the country for marriage would not be an act of rebellion. It would be a legal workaround. Changing citizenship would not be a requirement. It would be a personal decision, only if they wanted a different legal life structure. But the emotional weight of these choices, however, is something no law can measure. Home is not just a legal category. It is memory, belonging, and identity. And this is why the discussion feels endless, because it's not just about one couple. It's about what kind of world people want them to live in. A world where love doesn't have to cross borders to be valid. A world where commitment doesn't depend on a passport or a plane ticket. The future is still open. Laws can change, societies can shift, and history has shown that progress often starts with conversations people were once afraid to have. So now the question is yours. If love and law don't align, which one should adapt first? Should people wait for the system to change, or should the system hurry to catch up with real lives? Share your thoughts in the comments, join the conversation, and let your voice be part of the discussion. Because change never starts in silence, and stories like this are still being written.